Good morning, my people. Well, when you're on YouTube, I guess it isn't necessarily a good morning. Well, thanks for coming out to my YouTube channel where today I'm going to discuss some infield type of strategy when playing in tournaments, or maybe things you can do to improve your infield game if you don't feel it's quite up to par or taking up an infield. Once again, I'm Leroy Dozell, the little Mexican. Thank you for coming on tonight. Please share, like this. Please let the whole world know, because I feel when I do these videos, it's helped elevate a lot of players' games, especially new to the sport or taking on new positions. As I said, today I'm going to discuss some things that maybe you can try in your upcoming tournaments, maybe not worlds, but it's up to you. But work on in league and stuff to enhance your games, to give your team a little bit more W's. Because as I've always stated to many people that I play this game with or against, that two teams, if both teams are, I want to teach you how to play chess. Where a lot of people, when they play softball, they play checkers. So when you got that team that plays chess going against a team that just pretty much plays checkers, there's going to be a disadvantage. Sometimes when people have watched me and I'm always trying to be where the ball's gonna go. And as an infielder, especially somewhere in the infield, if you're not getting some balls hit to you or not making plays, that means you're non-existent, and that means you're not doing anything other than being a speed bump or a cone. First thing I've shared with many young guys that are coming in, and it's more important as I feel if you're playing senior softball. In seniors, when I play infield, I use a 13.5-inch glove, okay? Some people use a 13. I've seen people use a 12.25, 12.5, and that is okay, what you're comfortable with. But my philosophy is, the bigger the net, the more fish you catch. How often have you had that small glove and it goes off the tip of your glove, where a 13.5-inch glove is gonna give you a bigger pocket and a lot easier to get some of those balls that are just beyond reach. And it's not a disrespect. I played baseball, fortunately, in a Division II Northern California school. And my glove, when I was playing then, was 11.75, and I had a 12-inch glove. So when I talk to these young guys that are coming from baseball to softball or different people, the first thing I hear is, what? You don't think I can field it? No. This game is playing chess. You got to put yourself in a position to be smarter. In baseball, the ball's smarter. So if you want to do a little bit on the math aspect, if you were to see what the circumference, the ball inside a baseball glove, and compare how much bigger a softball is to this size glove, the dimensions are almost correlated. So that's the first thing I want to share. If you're using a small glove, you might want to get a bigger glove. Another thing, what I do is with my fingers, I go 2 in this pocket, 1, 1. So this one's actually free here, okay? So that's how it looks. There is no finger in this hole. And that is just, for me, good grip. When I'm getting the ball and some of those line drives that hit in the, that little knuckle spot, you don't get them. But that's another thing that you can do if you choose, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break it down on the primary positions that I played when I was younger, because primarily when I started playing men's softball, played a lot of B's and C's from 93 up into 2009. Last year I played on a B team or at a conference event. But when I first came up, I played third base. I love the hotness. I love the, to be able to show my arm off in those good days. So I was a third baseman. So I'm gonna show you some of the things that I actually evolved, okay? First off, right now, right over here, you can't really fully see it, but maybe I'll put you, well, you can't see it, but there's third base. First thing, any infielder, you gotta work on getting some depth so you can have more range. When you are here, the balls get by you a lot quicker. Whereas when I first started playing, I was here. And then as I started getting older and playing some senior softball, third base is there. Look how far back. You got to work on playing at a deeper end in the infield, just so you're able to cover more distance to making a play. okay? For myself as a hitter, when I see guys in this shallow and stuff, it tells me two things. Either A, they're afraid of the ball, B, they have no range, or they want to be non-existent, because this whole balls get by them quick. Another thing I do want to share is third base. My third base is here. You can see my cone. That's a good angle right here. But sometimes I see a third baseman like guarding the line so much. Okay? It all depends the hitter. If you know he's a dead pull hitter and stuff, I get it. And reiterating, that is when a book is very important in this game. Okay? Something you want to also be aware of is when you're getting depth, when there is 2 outs, and you can obviously watch this also in many conference games. I love seeing that part of the game where people are coming off the line, challenging you there, because if you hit it foul, you're out. Most of the time, this is where my area would be. So I'm going to show you the cone. This is with, you know, that would be my third baseline. So traditionally, I usually like to be about right in this area. And when you're playing deep, unless it's a major sizzle, you should be able to get here. But right here, look at this. I can go 2 or 3 steps and go in that hole. Seeing the cone. When I have 2 strikes on that batter, what I like, well, some guys, but I think the better thing to do is come off the line and say, there you go. Because a lot of times they're not trying that. And that's why it's so important to keep that book. Information is knowledge, and that knowledge helps you get W's because you know how to play the hitter. If the guy's a dead right side hitter, this is what I used to do a lot. I would bait the 5-6 hole. I would always tell my shortstop to go the middle. The last year that I won a men's with Teen in Construction, I had D. Smith as my shortstop. And a lot of times I say, hey, this guy's all right side. Take that hole away, which you see where the 5-man would be. I would literally get him over probably about 6 steps. A lot of my shortstops, especially with 2 strikes, or a guy who likes to go right side. And then I would sit here. This hitter, I want to bait this hole. So I would just play dumb, what's up? And as the pitch is in flight, I used to crash the 5-6 hole. And I made a lot of plays going in there or diving. I was even doing it last year when I went to Texas to play with front row and they had me at third base. I was making a lot of plays literally in front of the shortstop. The wild thing about this information, some people get discombobulated or can't fathom, what am I doing? Or they're like really nervous, like they're gonna get beat. Well, that's why you gotta keep a book for that information as well as telling your teammates. A good infield, a strong infield with the guy doing the book, the coach, always talking, always saying what you're doing. Just like in the outfield, I told guys, your ankles should be like connected by a chain. If your shortstop pinches middle more, you need to follow him. But the only way that really works good is if you got a good book and trusting one another. It's good to have one captain, but not always your 5-man is the captain. He's just kind of there because he's got a glove. It's always a guy who has the presence of mind to see what's happening. So real quick, third base, you should be working on playing a lot deeper, okay, than playing shallow. Also playing deeper, you have a better chance at those line drives. Depending the hitter and how strong they are, and sometimes in senior softball, they don't run too well, I'll play the grass. So I'm already pretty deep. But there's times right here, I'll be playing this deep. I have confidence in my arm. Okay? Your good infielders, besides taking ground balls, are always playing a sufficient amount of catch, getting yourself ready. If you're not doing that, you're gonna be just, at a little disadvantage. Okay? Remember, bigger glove, work in depth. You can work on baiting that 5-6 hole. One last thing, I had learned this a little bit more in softball. Depending where the ball is at, a lot of times I like to field it to the left of my belly button. Because once you bring your glove inward this way, it stiffens the hand, the wrist, so you're gonna get that tighter hand. Plus, if the ball's taking a trickier hop, you're gonna be more mobile, because when you're here, you don't have the same, opposed to fielding off the side more. Your glove's a lot easier and quicker to come up, because the more you put it out here, it gets tighter. What's a good fielding position? I like the same as in hardball. I just kind of hang out, and then I'll take a step, and I'll be in this kind of athletic position here. Always know it is quicker to come up than to go down for a ball. When I was younger and these guys hit lasers, I used to literally be down like this. That's another thing you got to look at infielders. Your really good, strong infielders are going to be more in a set position to field the ball than the other ones. Heck, I sometimes seen guys that want no part of the ball and they're just hiding like this. And they're giving you that hole. That means they don't want to be part of the game. So that means they're probably just a hitter. All right. So next, I'm going to teach you another little trick. Pulled a couple of these in my day. It's 5-man. I played my share of 5-man, but maybe not as much. It's always been primarily third base and second base. When I got to Classic Glass, they actually moved me to third base because we had a really great one. Same thing with your 5-man. You should be working, to my opinion, a deeper area. The biggest discussion I've had with different 5-mans is where to play. Some 5-man will give a much bigger hole and go more in that pull side because their pitcher's pitching the defense. Well, if you take enough BP and stuff, the easiest hole, I don't care who you are, the easiest hole to hit in the infield, right up the middle. And you just got to get it by a guy who's 70 feet away from you. This is where I feel your 5-man and your middle infielders need to work together. Okay? Same thing. Good size. 13 inch would probably be a minimum, I would say, for an infielder. But like I said, the bigger the glove, the more fish you catch. Probably the best play that not too many really attempt to do it, that I think it's the best play to do in softball, is the triple play. So I'm going to put the base. This cone right here will make as my second base. The triple play, if you know it's a guy who hits the ball up the middle a lot, you're right here. You know, even a dead pull hitter, maybe a little bit more. What you're looking to do is get the ground ball right here, tag the runner for 1 out, hit the base, 2, and then you're throwing it over to first. And I pulled my share in my day. Great time to work on this is in league. So once again, second base. As a 5-man, you're just a step off the baseline. The fielder has priority to field the ground ball over the infielder, just so you know that. A middle guy, you might be here, more of a power situation, right here. And you make yourself more valuable to your team when you're not afraid of the ball. Ball comes hot. This is a great play to do on turf. So I'm going to put you over here more. There's my cone. Base pass. So you play just a little deeper here. You're here. You hopefully get the ball. Tag the runner. Hit second base. And throw it. Double play. Another thing I like to share, and this is another thing where the book comes in handy. And sometimes people get all weirded out. Pick a side, pick a side. Your best infielders, your smart infielders who are playing chess are looking to get a guy out and be around the ball and bait people. There's times when I know a guy likes to hit dead middle. If they're second base, which I'm gonna have this cone for you to give you an idea, I literally will play about right here. And once again, when I'm talking to my infielders, we got a chain. My shortstop should be coming closer to me. This is basically saying we want that hitter to beat us down the third base line. A book comes in handy. I've shared with people, we're getting grilled up the middle, or this guy's beat us 3 times up the middle. Why do we give him the middle? Oh, the pitcher. It's slow pitch softball, man. People are gonna go with their tendencies. You figure out a tendency by keeping a book, as I've shared with you, just put lines where they hit the ball. And softball, smart man softball, you should adjust. Oh, it's underhand. He can hit it anywhere. Okay, let's see him do it. The guy's been killing us right here. The team has been killing us right here. So I like to be here. If the guy hits it hard, my arm's feeling good, I like to come out on the grass. Especially with the dirt. You know, on the dirt, when the ball hits the grass, you ain't getting no bad hops or anything. It's staying down like the turf. So sometimes that's an advantage, especially a guy you know hits the ball a ton. Playing 2 strikes, if you watch a lot of compers, they're pinching these middle holes and making you either be fine in a 5-6, a 3-4, or down the line. You don't see it too often with 2 strikes, a guy going down the line. But if you're not doing a book, you don't know that, right? That's why a book's important, especially for defense. There's been times I've been on the defensive side of the ball playing second base, and I'm arguing with somebody about where the guy hit it or not. Good information is your coach with the book saying, pull it 3 times. And pull it doesn't necessarily mean he hits it in left center. To me, pulling the ball is going down the line somewhere, like 5-6 over. Pulling the ball is in here. That's why it's good to be specific, coaches. Left center 3 times. And if you know the guy's a pull hitter, that means your center fielder should go over. Because the conventional way is if your 5-man's here, put the center field opposite. And I don't think that works all the time, because I've been beat a lot of times playing softball where you have a dead pull hitter and your 2 outfielders are doing the conventional way. Gap, gap, gap. And I shared, that hitter should not be gapping us that many times in a row. Make him change it. A dead pull hitter, his next outlet is gonna be this hole, which I'm gonna explain on second base, right center. A dead pull hitter, you kind of want him to beat you somewhere in the right field line, more in that 3-4 hole area. And that's where also first base comes into place. This is all smart man softball, and it can get people uncomfortable, but you gotta be willing to do that to beat teams, especially your best teams, and to try to get your best hitters out. And I will share this, I love the guy. Me playing with JBI so many years in different infields, especially with front row the last couple of years, we got a lot of great hitters that you guys follow on YouTube out or into double plays because we play their strengths. Keep a book. Whoa! You keep a book. It amazes me how often you can get a guy who's all right side. Everybody in the world knows he's all right side right here, and people still play him to pull. He should be pitching him inside. He's so far off the plate, the inside strike, he's still able to go right here. The inside strike, he's gonna go right here, which hole's always open. But if you're not keeping a book, you don't know that. My nickname, my first softball nickname, I was called the Eye. People say, did he see that? How did he know I was going there? How did he do that? It was by baiting holes, crashing, okay? Now I'm gonna go to the second base side, which you could see the middle right here. And then right there is my second base. So by seeing the cones right now, for a dead pull hitter, and a lot of guys, this is the next outlet they want to go right here, which I get chipped out. If the guy's a dead pull hitter or something, and you're leaving your pitcher alone 70 feet away to get in this hole. I've told great pitchers, I go, man, just go where you feel comfortable. Go back, don't even worry about it. Just focus on throwing strikes. Because sometimes pitchers can get in trouble because they're focusing so hard to pitch in certain areas rather than just focusing on throwing good knuckleball strikes, and let your defense take care of the pitcher. If a pitcher makes a play, that's a bonus. But to me, I don't look at it as something that has to be done all the time. But that again, it goes with your team philosophy, defensive philosophies, and the guys you work with. Because there's so many times I play with different people and discuss these things, but you know, they're in a different mindset. And that's okay, personality-wise. Being able to play against a lot of great hitters and see guys you can't get them out, you gotta do those little things. Because there's 2 ways of playing defense. You can either pitch the ball and hope the hitter gets himself out, or pitch the ball and your defense is playing to get him out. I've always liked, and I learned this in the early 90s, you play the hitter's strength and pitch his pitch. If he's a dead pull hitter, then obviously you're coming in, you're playing the pull. If he's a right side guy, play his strength and pitch his ball to go to those holes, but you plug the holes. Got a good book, maybe crash those holes, okay? So second base, same as third. I like to think for the most part, at least in Northern California, when I got moved to second base when I was playing with classic glass. Actually, I tried short, but I'm not a short. I just don't have that makeup. We already had Tommy, who was a great third baseman, made a lot of the plays and stuff. I got moved to second base, which is what I played in college. And I used to do a lot of thinking man softball. Like, you know, a lot of times traditionally you get the 5-man to roll the double play. But playing with Timmy Yule sometimes and Johnny Molina, I would say, hey man, this is a power hitter. He loves to hit home runs and he's a pull hitter. How about me as a second baseman taking it? Okay. So he's playing the pull and I'm shaded towards the middle. And I'd be turning those double plays. That is defensive chess playing. Doesn't always have to be the 5-man. Get the second baseman involved. Especially when you know the dead pull hitter, because it kind of drives me nuts sometimes when the 5-man shallow up the middle for that double play and that home run pull hitter hits the ground ball between the shortstop and the 5-man. Thinking man softball, playing the game of chess. Another thing that I always did, this right here is a normal second base side. I didn't always leave this. If I knew he's a dead pull hitter and all, which you're gonna be able to, I'm hoping you see my cones, I would always shade the middle a little bit more than normal. There's my normal cone. Dead pull hitter, I'd be more right here. And I can move, okay? I have shared many times to infielders, or maybe you could think this, I think the hardest play as an infielder to do is the backhand. When you have your forearm, you can move and you're this way. So why I cheat more up the middle, especially on a good pull hitter, I'm taking this hole. If your first baseman is dancing with you because you're making music, your ankles are tied by a chain. If I move, he needs to move. Sometimes they don't find that, then the second baseman gets in trouble. Oh, I gotta take that hole away. My first baseman is shackled to the line or sometimes standing next to the base, making himself irrelevant to the defensive side in the infield. Got to find guys who know how to play ball, okay? So as I said, I pinch the middle more, and I'm always gonna have more range running to my glove hand side than my backhand, okay? Look it up. More great plays, more times than not, are to your glove side or guys diving opposed to backhand balls and diving. It happens, yes, but you always want to try to get the ball on your glove side, and you're gonna have more range to your glove side than the backhand. So always remember, wherever you move, guys got to come to you. And as I stated with third base, I think I revolutionized it a lot more. I played a lot of deep second base. My arm's feeling good, and I have many times I've made balls here and throw guys out. Sometimes guys will say, you got to be able to throw them out. Okay, and once in a while you get a guy to try to test it, and they miss the ball and they beat it out. Then everyone's mad, you're too deep. So here comes some more to get into arguments. I'm not playing for the miss. Most of the time the guy hits the ball pretty hard. I get him out 80% of the time. 80% is the key. If you are getting guys out more than half the time, I'd say even half the time, especially your 700 plus hitters, then you win. You don't want the guy to go 3 for 4 or 4 for 4 against you. 2 for 4, that's a win. 1 for 4, that's a win. Okay, sometimes a guy will try to go backside to hit a foul ball, and then you hear, everyone shift. He gave it a shot. I'll guarantee you most guys will not try something out of their norm 2 times. If I try to go backside and I hit it foul, my mind isn't thinking, I gotta keep it fair and I'm gonna do it again. I took a shot at it, I didn't get it. Now you can play with these dudes. That's how you guys get hitters out. Make them feel uncomfortable, like you're gonna run in their hole and cheat. Another thing I've always liked to do with great hitters, you know, sometimes I'll be over here before the pitch is thrown and then I'll move. Or just doing some movement. Because when you're doing this kind of stuff, and I used to call this my diamond defense, I used to just move around. Guess where I'm at? Okay? Because I'm trying to win a ball game. Does it look crazy? Heck yeah. But I'm trying to win a ball game and get somebody out. That's the difference between a baller out there and a winner. They're going to try to do things. And a lot of outfielders, I've done it, seen other guys do it, or infielders moving back and forth. I remember the old Marnell 5-man way back in the day. I remember seeing him one time just going back and forth like this. To guys who like to go up the middle. Where am I going to be? And guess what? A lot of times those hitters don't know, and they don't want to guess. Or if you get them out doing some funky stuff, they ain't going to do it anymore. That's why sometimes I used to play third and I was non-existent. Because I know, I've heard coaches say, keep the ball away from that guy. You know? But you got to want the ball hit to you, and you got to be wanting to make a play. And bait hitters, or be in their, get them uncomfortable by being in their zones. Once again, second base, especially if you're by yourself. I sometimes like to do this. Okay? When do I do that kind of stuff? I'm not gonna give you all my tricks. Another infield trick I like to do is when the hitter's up, I try to make eye contact. And sometimes I make eye contact, I'll wave to him. And then when he's up, he knows I'm watching him, and I'll be doing like this. Why am I doing that? To make him think, am I gonna go there or am I gonna stay? And like I said, you get them out, they ain't gonna mess with your game. And that's what I used to do with a lot of teams and a lot of players. Not all the time. Did they get me sometimes? Yeah. But I've always been over that threshold, like I said. If I'm getting them out more than half the time, I'm doing my job. This is slow pitch softball. So you can't just stand there. Because like when you hit BP like myself, I just set up cones. They don't move, they don't do anything. So when I see a defense like that, easy. Like your best hitters, easy. I'm more vocal, I talk about it, they don't. But when we have those side chats, those barn chats, we talk about that. Oh, that defense, they just stand in one spot. Like you as an infielder, if you're in the same spot every hitter, you're at a disadvantage. You should be at a different spot. You should be staying involved in the game. Communicating. A lot of times for me, hey, I'm coming over here, he's gone this way. Right side hitter, yep, come with me. That's why you're always communicating. Your best teams are always communicating, focusing on getting guys out. Who's got the bag, who's covering, okay? But I like the eye contact thing there. The last position I'm gonna go to is first base, which I played my share a lot when I was playing with the young kids, okay? So what I'm gonna do is put the cone. So here's my cone for first base, okay? And as I stated earlier, don't be that first baseman that has his foot shackled. I play with guys, especially the upper level, they're not even existent. You know, as a hitter, there's my cone, they're like right here. Who the hell's gonna hit the ball to you right there? Or they're like this, especially a right side hitter. Okay, put yourself to make the play. The first play I wanna show, which I've done my share of these, and I pulled one off just recently at Rock and Reno with the California Bat Company. I did this with the guy who kind of goes right side of 3-4, but he's more middle. If there's my base, I'm even right here to do the unassisted double play by getting a ground ball, touch the runner, and then touch first base. So I'm gonna see if I can give you a different angle on how to look at that. Okay, there's the base. You can see how far off I'm off. Baiting it, can't be afraid of the ball. Okay, but I like to think the closer you are somewhat, you're not gonna get those bad hops. Okay, look, I'm right here trying to get that ground ball. And the same thing, sometimes I'll do this. I'll walk around at first. And here's another way I'd bait guys, and I was doing this at Rock and Reno to my success. I was way off the base, and then sometimes I was even this far off. Okay, but you gotta be able to move. And then I'd come back right here, get my unassisted ground ball, tag the runner, touch first for that double play. That is making a difference. Being an infield, and I think one of the best that I've seen the last couple years, at least in the senior softball, 40 and overs and 50, is Salvo, Vicious Psycho. I love his style of play. Plays off the base. He's doing the thinking man softball, and he makes some big plays. Like when he's diving in that 3-4 hole, especially as a lefty, that is making a difference in finding outs. Great defensive players are finding outs. Okay, don't be a first baseman that sticks, or be a position guy. That's why when it comes to picking your players, Oh, I could play first. Yeah, you could play first. Another thing you want to do, I'm going to show you real quick. Some errors that first basemen make is when they're going for the ball, they are already committed, stretched, and then you get those bad throws, and you got this going on. Okay? When I play first, and it's different, I like to straddle. So if the ball's on this way, it's easy for me to read it. Look at the arm span. You're committed here. Look. And that could be the difference of winning a world or a big tournament. You should straddle. Sometimes I go this route. I see the ball coming from the infielder, and I do this. Look at that arm stretch. Preferably baseball, they try to go cross, whatever works. For me, 9 out of 10 times, I'm just straddling like this. Same way, if it's on the inside, see what I mean? Straddle. Straddle. See the throw, I'm straddling. Once you know it's a good throw. And then look at this distance. Sometimes you get a guy who catches the ball here. You're giving that runner an extra step. This takes a step away, this takes another step away when they're good throws. All right? When picking a ball at first, you don't want to come back with it. You want to go out and catch it and sweep it. If the ball is short, go forward with it. So you're hopefully getting that short hop and picking it in that nature. Okay? Those are really strong things to do. Another thing I want to show you, which kind of gets really confusing when I try to explain this, so I'm going to show you. What I am doing is trying to show the difference in regards to path. Okay? Which I'm going to get the other cone. Alright, I'm back here. And this is something I made too. So being a defensive-minded first baseman, I'm going to show you. You can see these lines here. You see the line? This is somebody playing even with the baseline, more so with the dead pull. Look how long that line is. And then you have someone who's afraid of the ball sometimes, but look at the path of the ball. He's deeper down the line for a dead pull hitter. But if you look at the lines, actually I could probably go steps. Okay? This is just playing down the line deep. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to that corner. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So actually I can go right here. So look at that. And why I'm saying this right here is because of the distance. A guy here working on taking that 3-4 hole away is going to be into the game more and possibly making a big play than here. And there's times when I'm playing second base, I tell my first baseman, I go, I'm over the middle. Go in and over. Because the thing is, I'm taking 5 steps from right here to get to first. But I'm not in a position to get these deep 3-4 holes. I took the same 5 steps and I'm more into the 3-4 hole. And some of those dead pull hitters are not going to go that way. A lot of times when dead pull hitters go backside, they're not hitting with the same authority than pulling the ball, especially if they're trying to force it. This is a good spot with 2 strikes, okay? 2 strikes, you should not be on the line. You should be off trying to pull that guy. And the further you get off, you want to come closer to the baseline. But you can't be afraid. People get all weirded out about it. And I go, watch me. And when I do that stuff, I'm not doing it to big league guy or think I'm coaching. Well, it's kind of coaching, but it's my teammate. And if we're all on the same page, we get a lot more W's. It's the defensive side of the game, especially in slow pitch softball. It changes. It's a game. Games have strategy. When you are just sitting in the same place and not making yourself involved in the game, the other team, you're gonna have a lot more hitting. It's gonna be a lot more offense. You know, I've been on a team, we have great offense, but we can't stop hitters because people are fighting or thinking this works or that works. The higher level you go, you got to do it more, in my opinion. But this stuff, if you're playing AAA or majors, you can get away with a lot more because not all the hitters in that lineup are line to line. Uh-oh. They're not line to line. So I'm going to just turn this around up again. They're not line to line hitters. They are more hitters that, look at that. My video was so good till the wind got me. I'm almost done here. Line to line hitters. Not everybody's line to line. Okay? There's some good information here that you can use. Always be talking, always be thinking. Hopefully your coach has the book knowing where everybody's hitting the ball so you can check it out and play together on defense. That's what's playing together. To me, that's ideally defining chemistry on defense, is when guys are all together on the same page. I played with teams that people are fighting. Oh, here's that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you are not doing thinking man softball. You're just standing where you think you're supposed to stand. You're not standing where you should make a play. Creating chances. I remember Joey Formosa, he was playing third base when I was in Classic and I played second. And we used to do a lot of defensive stuff, as we did with TD Construction, best defense I ever played with. And it's called creating chances, baiting a guy, moving, being in a position to get the ball. I used to tell people sometimes, they go, yeah, I might not have made that play, but a lot of you guys are watching the ball roll in the outfield. Like when I'm deep and I'm just missing a ball, or like, let's say I feel the ball at the middle. And the only reason I got to it because I was playing deep second base. Oh, play shallow, you would have had him out. Guy, if I was shallow on the dirt the way you wanted me, that ball would have been rolling in the outfield and possibly been a double. They're great hitters. You know, pretty much when you're playing deep second base, you're gonna get most of the guys out going 5 steps to your left or right. But when you're able to go a couple extra steps and save the ball from going to the outfield, that changes the game, keeps the double play in order and stuff. But those are a lot of little things. Gotta love the wind out here. Those are a lot of little things that people aren't paying attention. Please, if you want to message me on my Facebook, please do so. I've done many things like this on my podcast, but I enjoy doing this. I enjoy strategic, I enjoy making people better and teams better. So thanks a lot. I hope your infielding is great. It's safe. Be kind to one another. And as I said, things to work on. One last thing is when somebody's hitting BP, get on the grass so you're not feeling the dirt and just work on some hands and feet. Ideally, you want to try to feel the ball in front of you, not here because it's a black hole and you lose it. And also reading the ball off the bat, or the bat off the ball. That's a skill. So when you're doing BP, rather than chatting it up and stuff, focus on the pitch, focus on the bat, and try to read the bat off the ball. Your great infielders reading the bat off the ball, they're kind of taking off before the ball's on contact because you're reading the bat off the ball. Things I used to do when I used to coach my infielders. We'd be sitting here and we were out there with them saying, let's read the bat off the ball off the bat. A lot of things there. Message me, subscribe and like, pass it around. Try these things in league. A lot of things when I was younger, I used to implement them in backyard boogies, or I'd play down with my buddies, or playing league. I started doing a lot of different things and I carried it over playing in my tournaments. But you gotta be confident and you gotta respect and have trust in the process. And most importantly, not everybody is kind of like myself, very math-minded, and I have a good memory on the field. So you gotta trust that guy. Because there's been many times I'll be yelling, middle, middle, middle. There's it is. So, I mean, don't fight your teammates. Be chemistry. That's what it's all about, working together. All right? So thanks a lot. This was a good long one, and I hope you got a lot out of it.